The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Is Dante Moore still the play at number 2 for the New York Jets? Joe Blewett will join us and review the latest film from Moore's performance against Indiana in the playoff. Plus, Mike Tomlin is free from the Steelers. Can Woody Johnson make it happen? We'll talk about that and more. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. If you missed the first show today, Robbie Sabo was the guest, so definitely check that one out. Make sure, if you're watching live or after the fact, you hit the thumbs up button and you are subscribed to the channel. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. And a reminder that if you ever miss the Jake Asman Show live on YouTube, you can check it out in audio form on either Apple or Spotify. Just search Jake Asman Show, subscribe there, and listen back to anything you might have missed in podcast form. Mike Tomlin has stepped down after 19 years. For more on that and for more on all things Jets, we say hello to our guy Joe Blewett from JetX, jetsxfactor.com. Joe, this is a meme that I saw circulating the Jake Asman Show Discord today. This is how I think a lot of Jet fans are feeling watching both Harbaugh and Tomlin and all these other qualified coaching options be on the market. Yet here we are, Aaron Glenn still employed as the Jet coach.
It's just so funny that like how much the season picks up after the season, like all the talk about head coaches right now. I'm sure the flavor of the week is that Moore sucks, Chambliss is great, and Carson Becker great. We should probably draft them in the first round as well. People are super overreactionary with the quarterback stuff, but yeah, man, I kind of said it. Like I'll take a dart into a random room and just throw it into this coaching, like this coaching prospect pool. And I think we land with a guy better than Glenn. I said last week, he's 32 out of 32. At least in 2025. So yeah, Stefanski's out there, Harbaugh, Tomlin, maybe Joe Brady is going to be, available. Kingsbury, a little bit of a risk, obviously, but I'd rather take that risk than Glenn. There's plenty of guys out there who I would like to swing at, but we're most likely stuck, and then we'll see what happens in 2027.
So here's the thing with Tomlin, right? He stepped down, which means the Steelers retain his rights. I think there's a chance that if he wanted to keep coaching, though, because the fact he stepped down and it kind of felt like both sides knew they needed to move on, that it wouldn't be like you had to trade like an arm and a leg to acquire him if you're the Jets or any other team. You'd have to give up something, I'd imagine. Or maybe they ended on good terms, and out of respect to Tomlin, the Rooney family would just let Tomlin out of his contract and go to another team. I'm not sure. The initial reporting is that Tomlin is going to do TV for the upcoming year and then probably be the number one candidate for any team with an opening in 2027. But if you're the Jets, you owe it to your fan base to at least do your homework and reach out to Tomlin and see if he would have any interest in the job. It's the same thing with Harbaugh. It's the same thing with any of these guys who are qualified, because ultimately when a guy like Mike Tomlin, who has never had a losing season over 19 years, went out there and went 4-2 with Justin Fields, who Aaron Glenn couldn't win a damn game with. There's just, I don't need to tell people about Mike Tomlin's resume and Harbaugh's resume and these other guys. But again, like, he might want to sit out for the year, and that's fine. You have to at least reach out and make sure he has no interest in the job or any job this year, because it would be the ultimate slap in the face if he actually would be interested and they don't even do their due diligence and reach out.
It's exactly the perfect word. Is what I was going to say. Due diligence, right? Like make him deny you, make Harbaugh deny you, make all these coaches deny you. Now it gets a little bit tricky, like back channeling. to these guys? And does AG figure out? And then is there turmoil and all that stuff? Like, I don't have the ins and outs of how that works. I'm not like the front office type of guy. But yeah, if you could reach out, obviously do it. We haven't heard a lot about the Jets like making staff moves and stuff. So maybe they are going to be looking into some of these coaches. I don't know exactly what's going on. They definitely are slow playing it, but yeah, if they can get a Tomlin, like people will be like, oh, he lost, 7 games in a row in the playoffs. Like he was eliminated the first round or whatever. Like the things we do for 7 playoff berths or even close to the playoffs, a guy who's taking before Rodgers, it was like Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph to 9-10 wins into the playoffs, Justin Fields to a 4-2 record. And I get that Justin Fields was better with the Steelers and the Jets by a little bit, but not that much. And they were still winning. If you look at the games, a lot of their games were like 17-13, 16-12, like that type of stuff in that season. So I would not discredit Tomlin or Harbaugh, any of these guys. It's like, beggars can't be like not only beggars can't be choosers, but it's just crazy that Jets fans criticize guys like Harbaugh and Tomlin.
I mean, Mike Tomlin went 18-12 with Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields as his quarterback. The Steelers are in for a rude awakening, by the way. Like, they're going to be a bad football team next year without Tomlin. They have no quarterback right now. Rodgers is going to retire. Even if he came back, he'd be 43. He's clearly not what he once was. Still competent, but not, Aaron Rodgers of old, as we know. So I don't know what their plan is. They don't have obviously the resources to get any of these stud quarterbacks in the draft, and we can even question just how good of a draft class it really is outside the top guy in Mendoza, which we'll get into. But like, they're in for a rude awakening at Pittsburgh. The grass ain't always greener, and I get it. Maybe it was time. The Eagles moved on from Andy Reid. Belichick is no longer in New England, and it took a little bit, and they figured it out. But again, from a Jet standpoint, if you have a chance to get any of these guys and you're not doing it, what a slap in the face to this fan base. You're going to raise season ticket prices, Woody, after the team went 3-14 and your head coach made all these promises and didn't deliver on a single one. Shame, shame, shame that we are sitting here as fans having to sit through another year of trust me, bro, as our head coach.
I know it's hard to say. Just trust me, have faith in what we're doing.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it feels like Brian Flores is like the perfect fit with the Steelers, just like the mentality, defensive guy, like tough and all of that stuff. So I feel like Flores is a good fit there. But there's so many rumors about even like LaFleur and Green Bay. Like, is he going to get let go of? He would never come here, obviously, because of the relationship is solid. Same thing with Mike McDaniel, but. It's an interesting pool out there. Like, there's the proven guys. Like, if you want to go the proven route, because we've gone the rookie DC, rookie OC, well, not rookie OC with Gase, but obviously a guy we didn't want. But a lot of like rookies and lower end guys. So you can get the potentially the Harbaughs or the Tomlins, like really reach for the stars of those guys. But then there's also the guys like the the Joe Brady's out there, or the Kingsbury's a little bit less proven, but
Clint Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak. So there's plenty of guys out there who I would like to take a swing on. It doesn't seem like they're going to. Obviously, we don't want to rehash it a ton because we have, but at this point, we have to hope that they make the right move, at least in our opinion. Doesn't mean it is the right move. In our opinion, my opinion is that they should get rid of him and go for a new head coach. If not, and this is what people don't understand on Twitter just in general, is that I'm not rooting for the downfall of this franchise. If anything, I would like to have egg on my face and them to go 17-0 next year and win the Super Bowl. Like, I could take the Twitter hate and say, oh, you're hating AG, because at the end of the day, like, there's tangible evidence why I should hate him. It's not like just like blind, I'm not just like looking into it blindly. So hopefully they turn it around. Hopefully, obviously, they get rid of him first. If not, they turn around and they can actually win 7, 8, 9 games with a rookie quarterback next year. That'd be nice.
Steve Asman sent me a text right before we went live. Get me Tomlin. So there you go. Steve Asman.
Stamp of approval.
A new head coach. He is in on Mike Tomlin. I'm telling you, this meme I saw in our Discord for anyone on Patreon who's in the Jake Asman Show Discord. This was hilarious. Shout out to Tony for putting this in there. I was dying when I saw this. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Joe Blewett is our guest. We gave out our 3 raffle-related prizes on the first show today. So now we're on to raffle 57. This week's top prizes feature a signed Garrett Wilson helmet, a signed Darrelle Revis helmet, and a signed Chad Pennington helmet. We have those 3 items. And how about this? End of the show tomorrow. So that's right. A little overnight raffle giveaway today and tomorrow. You have a chance to enter to win a signed Wayne Corbett helmet. So if you want in on any of these raffles, including the daily raffle we got here for the Corbett helmet, make sure you gift the channel membership to the community or send it a $10 super chat or higher to qualify for the Asmaniac raffle. Joe, before we get to the film, let's just talk about where things stand with the Jets in regards to their path for a quarterback. They own pick 2. They own pick 16. We know that they have money to spend in free agency. We're going to get into Moore and Mendoza and the options for the Jets, of course, at 2 in a moment. But as we enter the offseason right now, in your mind, what is the ideal path for Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn to try and figure this thing out?
Yeah, right. Like, is it their ideal plan or is it my ideal plan? Because like we've talked about for months, it's like it's risky to take a quarterback who this team has to then develop. Like they haven't got rid of Charles London yet, so it's sketchy. So like, I think their best plan is to draft a quarterback early, develop him, and then they hold on to their jobs. But like many have talked about, if you start off the season, whatever it may be, 2-6, 2-7, whatever it may be. And then are they going to force the rookie quarterback in before he's ready to play because they're trying to save their jobs? So it's definitely like a convoluted situation. I do think they end up taking a quarterback, whether it be at 2, whether it be at 16, whether it be a trade up from 16, whether it be a trade up from 33 back into the first round, something like that. But at the end of the day, the quarterback discourse is funny. It's just, I know it every year, but it bothers me every year is the overreaction to one game, to one throw at the pro day, to 140 time, and I know that's the flavor of. I see it on Twitter. It's Chambliss is great now, Beck is great now, Dante Moore, don't even touch him until the second round or late first round. So it is what it is. Like I don't think one game should change your evaluation. If you were a guy who was on Dante Moore all year as the first best, the second best quarterback, a game against Indiana with a star-studded team with some of the best coaching you're going to see shouldn't change your evaluation completely, but it's the way of things with YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. People just started watching them for the most part. And again, there's not a lot of context. Like you see the broadcast angle of these guys, they complete a pass. Oh my God, it looks like it's a great play. He completed the pass. What happens if he skipped his first 2 open reads? But you don't see that stuff on the broadcast. So this is always my time to like battle people a little bit is in the off season when people don't have a lot of evidence on these guys or whatever else it may be. But I think they grab a quarterback in the first round, whether that be second, 16, trading up from 33. That's their plan. My plan, hey, like not to be doomsday, but is it for them to grab maybe a lesser guy? They don't have to rely on him. They get fired. They can restart with a quarterback next year with no kind of like dedication to a first round quarterback, so that's the sinister side of me. But the positive side of me is, hey, they figured out, they fire Charles London, they bring in a good OC, and Dante Moore comes in week 10 on and dominates, and we're all happy.
Isn't it hilarious that part of our thinking, this is like a lot of Jet fans, is we just got to survive this year and then get a real coach to fix whichever quarterback we draft? Like, think about how pathetic that is, that one of the optimistic options is, hey, Glenn's so bad, with the quarterback we take, whether it ends up somehow being Mendoza, which feels unlikely at this point, or Dante Moore, whoever, and then, our next head coach is the ones that can fix him. Like, if we all feel this way, the fact that Aaron Glenn is still the coach today is yet another slap in the face of this fan base.
Yeah, and I don't want to put I guess I will put a number on it. It feels like it's like 85% of Jets fans who feel that type of way, where it's like, yeah, I'll take a quarterback and hope for the best. But just being, real for me, it's like I have to worry about these guys, ruining the quarterback. It just is what it is. And it is funny with like the Darnold, like it wasn't this obviously direct with like the Darnold situation where everybody shits on the Jets. Like, how did they let this guy go? It's like, the Vikings, like he won 14 games. The Vikings 13, was it 13 or 14, whatever it was. And it's like, don't criticize the Vikings for letting him go, or the Niners for letting him go, or the Panthers for letting him go. Let's criticize the Jets. So it's not directly like that, but it's just like it has been done. We see a lot of these one and done type coaches, the rookie quarterback turning around, or the young quarterback turning around the next year. Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence, obviously he's had much more experience. Like they can do it, but it is something that sets them back undoubtedly, right? So for a team who's never developed a quarterback, I don't want to put it on his plate where, hey, you have to learn another system. The second year in the NFL, 20 years old, if it's Dante Moore going on 21, 22 in year 2. So it's a lot to put on a guy, changing systems, changing players potentially. It's not great. It's not great.
Some super chats, and then let's review some Dante Moore film, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button as well. Wayne Corbett, sign helmet, daily raffle prize. Give you this show and tomorrow's morning show your chance to win it. Hire Tomlin ASAP, says Forever Ron. And Snake Plyskin says, we got the number 2 pick in a 1 QB draft. Not so fast, my friend. Gonna go Lee Corso on you, Snake Plyskin, because I don't believe that to be true necessarily. I think if the right team got Dante Moore, the right team got Ty Simpson, they could also be very good. The problem is, I don't know if that right team is the New York Jets. But with that said, Joe, you ready to break down some Dante Moore film? We were all so excited Friday night, getting ready to watch this game. And then first pass, pick 6, and the jokes about the Jets. Oh, Dante Moore is ready to be a Jet. It was just an onslaught after that. So whenever you're ready, we'll break down some plays here. We'll do Mendoza as well, even though it feels like that could be unlikely at this point. But either way, always fun to do film with Joe. So whenever you're ready, Mr. Blewett, we'll get to your plays.
Yeah. It's just like and I get it, right? Because if we weren't Jets fans, we'd dunk on the Jets as well. But like all the strays we catch from like other fan bases, or like Devontae Adams, will be at home with the Jets, or Rodgers saying, I played for 2 great franchises, like obviously leaving the Jets out of that. Dante Moore has to go back to school to avoid the Jets. Like I just can't wait until we can dunk on people. And I said it on Twitter this week, and it got a decent amount of likes. Like Jets fans, you, Jake, me, everybody in the chat, minus the 1 or 2 turds out there, because they exist in every chat. We have the right to be absolutely unbearable when the Jets are good, like just dunking on absolutely everybody. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that moment, whether it be in 5 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, hopefully for some of the older fans sooner rather than later. But we have the right to be unbearable. So I cannot wait for the Jets to be good, because all the strays we catch. And assuming I think the screen is shared, but I just want to tell people that I have quite a few reviews cooking, and for the draft, I think I'll stick around on Tuesdays for you guys, and we'll do a lot of the draft prospect film breakdowns. I just want to give you a quick list of who I'm doing. So if you have any suggestions in the chat, I'll go back after and read it. But I want to get quite a few options for 16, and then maybe even for 2 if the Jets don't take a quarterback there. But I have reviews on Lemon, Sony Styles, Bailey, the D end, the Folk, the D end, Woods, McDonald, Concepcion, CJ Allen, Denzel Boston, Bain, and Reese. So if there's anybody else that I see like overwhelming in the chat that you guys want to see, just let me know, and I'll try to do a review on those guys, and we can break it down on the channel. So is my screen up, Jake?
So Joe, I will tell you, your screen is not up just yet. So make sure you just share it through the screen there. We'll get it loaded.
Yep. That's my fault again. I think that's 2 weeks in a row where I have it up on my screen. I didn't share it. Okay, here we go. All right. Should be good now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is good. Here we go. Break down some Dante Moore.
Yeah. And we have 22 plays. So I do have to kind of lightning round these just for sake of time. So we'll run through them a little bit quick, because it's quite a bit of plays to get through in a short time frame. But this is the first play of the game. I think Sabo did a breakdown on Twitter that I saw pop up. So go and watch his. I'm sure it's a little bit longer than this one, but this is one where he tries to hit the speed out right here from the number 1. It gets picked off. And I know Sabo talked about it at least a little bit, even on the I think during the game, maybe he was talking about it. And they rotate into a cover 3. Typically, you're not going to have a cover 3 corner play this heavy to the outside in terms of like flat-footed. But it could be a thing where they notice tendencies from Oregon. So like, hey, sit on this route a little bit. But Dante Moore initially, the ball is snapped, sees the safety rotate over, gets to which is showing, middle of the field close, which most likely it's going to be a cover 3 type of look. He gets to the bottom to the speed out, and versus a cover 3 look with that corner bailing, it's typically a gimme throw, especially for the first throw of the game. The Indiana corner squats on it very, very hard, and then Moore is a hitch late on the ball, puts it too far inside, and it's a pick 6. It's not a good way to start a game. I understand saying like, hey, yeah, it's abnormal for a corner to play that heavy onto it, but if you look at his eyes, he checks the safety initially as the ball is snapped right here, and I'm playing it frame by frame, so it's not laggy, just frame by frame. He checks the safeties, see the safeties rotate over. He's looking at it now. Like he's he gets his eyes there pretty quickly. So it's not a situation where like he couldn't check that corner and like there was multiple reads. It was a backside, something like that. Like he's staring at this the entire way after checking the safety. So this is a ball you cannot release. If you look at the backside of this, whether, it depends on how they read it on the backside. When you have like smash concepts or this is actually more of like a spot concept. There's different ways to read it, but you can read it high to intermediate to low. You can read it low to intermediate. This can be an alert regardless of what it is. The backside, you have like an escort swing screen right here. And you can hit this. Obviously, if you were to get his eyes deep, which I don't think he would after getting to this side, there's stuff open on this side. So just forego this. Get to the backside of your read and get rid of that ball. Again, he's a little bit late on the ball. Like he takes a 3-step drop. We got 1, 2, 3. You have to release the ball now. Like as he's getting into his break, you have to release it. He kind of drifts backwards and takes an extra hitch right there. So one, he's kind of fading out of the throw. We see that, and again, his feet. He typically steps in the bucket. It's late. If the rule is if the receiver can see you throwing the ball, it is late. Gets rid of it. Bad timing inside. Not enough oomph on it. Pick 6 to start the game, which is not obviously great for Dante Moore there. This is one where, again, I'm going to show the plays that aren't just completions or picks or touchdowns, whatever it may be. This is another spot concept to the bottom. And there's a few ways that you could read this and teams read it. Some teams alert this corner route, which is basically like pre-snap. If you see a certain look, you're going to read this, or you can even read it really quickly off the jump. But some teams read this first, the deeper route to the intermediate to the flat. If this is just an alert and you don't like the pre-snap look, a lot of teams will read it flat to the snag or the hook right here. But based on the look, Dante Moore reads the corner route from the slot right there, and he delivers a good ball, right? Like he sees they drop into a cover 2. He has an outside breaking route versus an inside leverage and high DB. He probably reads the cloud corner right here too, just because if he gains depth underneath this route, you can't throw it. He sits a little bit more in the flat because he's occupied by a receiver, running back, whatever he is in the flat. Hits the corner out, and the receiver drops it, right? So it's a play where like you can't blame Moore for the incompletion there, but context is needed, obviously. And this is one where people can, you don't have to be an expert to be like, hey, listen, he hit a guy and he's wide open, So good read by Moore, reading the spot concept, reading the high first right there. Again, reading that safety, reading the inside leverage versus an outside leverage route, throwing it on time, on his face, drops it, which is unfortunate. Let's see the next one. This is a stick nod. I think actually both quarterbacks hit this for a touchdown in this specific game, and Dante Moore might have even hit it twice. But typically, you're going to read, and it's not always the case, and offenses do stuff differently. So I hate when people say like in absolutes is exactly how you read it, because it depends on the alerts, it depends on the exact team. Certain teams read different concepts in different ways, even though there are typically generic ways to read it. But typically with a stick nod, you're going to read the vertical first to the inside because it's a little bit longer developing. He checks the safety initially, and it looks like it's a 2-steal coverage, which is it's a cover 2, but you're basically going to take you're going to take one guy from one side of the field, and he's basically going to like look to play the seam opposite side of the field or the hook. So you're going to see the safety right here. He goes into like that 2-steal coverage. He rotates the high, which means that he doesn't rotate the high. He just continues to gain depth. So that means the middle of the field is open, right? So we got that 2-steal type of coverage here. I don't think he even checks the vertical. He might, but what he sees is this linebacker sitting a little bit more flat, knows he has a stick nod, working behind him, throws the ball, delivers it for a touchdown. So you're going to see him right here, checks the safeties, gets to the stick nod. And again, he's going to be reading this defender. This is the defender that's going to be in conflict with the middle of the field open. So he knows he has nobody deep. He sees him flat, sees him looking at him, knows that his receiver is going to get behind him, delivers the ball, right on number 9 right there for a touchdown. So it's a good job by Moore, again, reading that rotation of the safeties to 2-steal and getting to the stick nod.
Again, that was right after he threw the pick 6. So I did like that response early in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. It's again, like not everything is going to be perfect for quarterbacks in the NFL. No matter who you are, you're going to have to come back from adversity and stuff, and that's a part of like quarterback evaluations that I think people can overlook. It's just like looking at the plays individually instead of like taking into the context of the situation. Exactly like you said, did you just throw a pick 6? Have you been getting sacked? Because it affects guys. If you're getting sacked consistently all game, And then in the fourth quarter, there's a really nice play of like your poise and presence in the pocket. It's like, okay, that's even like that's even more impressive because you've been facing pressure down on your neck all game. So the way you respond is important. So I think that's a good point to highlight. This is the sack fumble. They're down 21 here late second quarter. So obviously not another play that's not so great from Moore. And I want to see him just pull the trigger here. Specifically, you're down 21. It's later on in the game. Now, in terms of the reads here, he could read, and I don't know if he does. It doesn't look like he does. You could read this 1 to 2. It looks like he just reads the safety dropping down a little bit here, and then knows he has a seam route. All right, or a slot fade there. So then he wants to get to the slot fade, but there's some pressure in his face. Again, he could check that quickly and just not want to throw it. But with Moore here, I want to see him be a little bit quicker in his decision in terms of throwing this because, relatively clean pocket. Even if he did read the 1 there, or that, if that's just a clear out, fine. If he read it, I understand coming off of it based on, this look initially with the linebacker squatting, gets to the slot fade, or the slot fade can be the 1, doesn't really matter. But when he's looking at that slot fade, again, you're down 21. It's late in the second quarter. You have to make some big plays to come back. And the slot fade, he has leverage here. He has leverage to the outside and he has leverage over the top. Put this ball on him, whether it be, obviously leading him vertically. If you want to put it back shoulder, if you have that trust in your receiver to make a play on the ball, fine. But it's a situation where you have to get rid of the ball, right? Like we can't hold on to the ball forever. This is a matchup in the NFL that you're typically going to want to take. See if you can hit that shot. Again, especially down 21. If they were even right now, if it was a close game, then fine. I understand maybe looking for another option, being a little more safe. But in a situation, hey, just get rid of that ball. He doesn't, sack fumble, and Indiana is able to scoop. I believe they scoop it up, right? Yeah, they scoop it up. So situation, I want to see him get rid of the ball quicker on that one. Let's see this one. This is okay, I have it labeled. This is 3 cloud. So he's going to drop back, read the safety rotation, right? So you have 3 cloud, which is the traditional, cover 3 is going to be 2 corners, deep thirds, outside thirds, and a safety in the inside third. But this one, they're going to rotate the safety over the top here, safety in the middle of the field, and then another deep third right there. And he sees the rotation. And versus cover 3, that seam route is going to be a 3 beater. So drops back, reads the safeties, reads the rotation, right? And this safety is going to be the key, because if this is like more of a cover 2 look, the seam may not be open here unless it's a bender, and then he gets inside of him, which basically the bender, again, is just going to be middle of the field. With the middle of the field closed, you're just going to continue the seam. If it's middle of the field open, you're going to bend it inside. But with this safety going over the top, specifically like he's going to trust that he's going to hit that seam. He's not collapsing down or anything like that. So he reads it, sees the linebacker's hips are square to the line of scrimmage, and knows that his receivers are going to get behind him, puts it on him on that bender route with good zip and delivers it to him. If the safety drove down this, I don't think he throws it, but it's a good job by him bending this inside too, to just give him that extra window. But it's a good read by him. Again, it's a good read, just seeing that the middle of the field is going to be open, trust the receiver to make the right play and bend it inside. I don't know if he's a tight end actually, but nonetheless, good throw in the seam versus cover 3 cloud. That's a NFL level play for Dante Moore. So there's definitely some good, some bad. This one was interesting. This is the 2-point conversion where he drops back, and obviously you have a 4x1 here, right? I don't know if this is like, hey, I like this matchup with the receiver. And again, transparently, I'm not the biggest college football guy, so I'm not sure like, hey, if this is a bad corner, this is a great receiver, anything like that. But he snaps the ball, reads the safety. The safety isn't immediately getting over there, so he goes to the isolated side where. My only question, and this is a question like I think that you'd bring into the meeting room with him pre-draft. It's like, hey, why are we not going to the bottom here when we have a numbers advantage? You have 3 versus 2, or if you want to look at it, 4 versus 3 here. Why are we not going to the bottom instead? But again, that's a question for the meeting room for him. That I would love to be, a part of. Obviously, just a fly on the wall, not for any other reason, just to be a fly on the wall. But reads that safety, trusts his receiver to win vertically on that corner, and puts the ball in a really good spot, right? So my only question would be, why are we not going to the strength? But in terms of the location of that ball, putting it nice and high, receiver makes a good play on it. And it's a little bit grainy, Indiana's film, but obviously
Makai Lemon gets that ball next year for Moore. Don't worry,
dude. So we talked about it a little bit before, and I've only done Mekhi Lemon. I still have a ton of reviews to do, but Lemon at 16 is a slam dunk. Like if he's there at 16, I'd have absolutely no issues with the Jets taking him. I watched 5 games of him, and obviously if they draft him, I'll watch more. But my feelings right now is he does not make it to 16 based on what I watched. So that would be an excellent pick. But
Real quick, Coach Sabo's watching. He says, "Yeah, wide split quad, got to be 2-prong ISO and working off inside run threat."
Yeah. It just again, but these are questions for the meeting rooms that you ask these quarterbacks where we're not privy to that information, how exactly they run their system and what they're reading. But when you see a 4x3, it's like, okay. And I think you have like a little smoke route right here from him, and you have 2 blockers. It's like, hey, this could be a gimme here. Now if he collapses on this, then different story. But again, that's Oregon's situation. Again, that's a situation like Sabo said, like, hey, is it based on the situation, and do we have to ask him that in the meeting rooms? But this is there's really not much to this one. This is a receiver making a play on the ball. I just wanted to show it because it's like a 40-yard gain or whatever it may be. But deep shot, third and 12 down big. So you like the fact that he's going to be aggressive here. I believe he throws it to one of these top receivers. I honestly forget, but 2x2 gun, right? They're showing what looks to be, this could be quite a few things, but it looks like quarters right off the jump. But let's see what they actually rotate into. Okay, so they actually rotate into like a 3 buzz. At least it looks like a 3 buzz. Yeah, it looks like a 3 buzz. So with that being said, this is just, hey, knowing my situation, I'm down big. It's 3rd and 12. Even if this is not completed, it's basically if it is picked off, it's an arm punt. But we like the location of the ball and the decision to throw it right. Let's see if it's just. Okay, so he probably reads 1 to 2 there. I have to see from the other angle if he even reads the seam right there. Probably safety to seam to outside. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is. But I like the quick decision of, hey, let's just throw that ball up there. I think Sabo's hit on this quite a few times if he's still watching. It's like in today's NFL, with how much pass interference and stuff there is, throw the ball deep sometimes, because the chance you get a PI is pretty good in today's world. So even if you don't think it's going to necessarily be completed, you also have, hey, it could be a play where there's that PI. This is not a great one from him. Where I don't know where he's going with this one is because typically you read a play like this inside to out. So he's probably going to read 1 to 2 to 3 where they're all just running like short ends right here on 3rd down. And just based on how the linebackers, open up. And again, this looks like it's going to be a cover 3. They rotate into a 3 and he just plays it aggressively. But your first read with that linebacker getting wide on that exit angle really quickly, I don't know why he doesn't hit this right off the jump if that is his first read, and it looks like it is. He gets to his 2 right here. His eyes then bounce back to the 1, and we're going to see his transitional footwork, which I talk about a lot, not be great on this one. And then he misses the throw behind the receiver. So again, he's going to read the inside receiver most likely first, checks the safety, drops back, right? And just based on this relationship, he's working inside. He's clearly working outside. Look at the hips. There's nothing here. He's not going to be able to defend this ball either. So I don't know why he doesn't get rid of the ball to 9 there, comes off of it, gets back to the outside, sees that is covered, then gets the eyes back to the inside. But look, the feet aren't transitional. Like, you have to be ready to throw the ball when you're starting to read guys. He's not ready at all to throw this ball. He's kind of fading back, his weight are on his heels. There's no drive through the ball. He throws it, but it's behind the receiver, right? So I'm not sure why it comes off of the 1 there. And then this transitional footwork on top of it also has to be better with Dante Moore. You just don't want to see him like stuck into the ground like that and then throwing that ball just completely arm, where maybe, and I think part of the problem is why it's behind is because he gets hit as he's throwing the ball. But part of the problem is it takes him longer to get rid of the ball because of how bad his feet are right here in terms of that transitional footwork. So misses them /hit so it doesn't get there, but not a good play from Moore. Minus the pick, that's probably one of the worst plays of the game. This is another one where it's like that Hoss type concept where it's going to be the seam from the slot and then the hitch route to the outside. And this is one where he's late on this ball, and because he's late on the ball, it gets tipped. I think there's also some bad footwork from Moore here as well. But we'll look at it from the other angle really quickly. So again, read that safety, right? I believe the safety kind of rotates into the middle. Let's see. Does he rotate? Okay, no, he doesn't. He actually doesn't even really rotate. But nonetheless, what he's seeing is the safety go work to the inside a little bit more. This defender is not going to carry, so he gets to the seam properly, which is good. The problem is he gets rid of it just a hitch late. You want it like, let's see the drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Throw the ball. Like deliver the ball now. He takes that extra step to deliver it, which allows the defender to close the ground into that window and deliver the ball. So a little bit hesitant with the eyes right there. And the feet, again, are not great in terms of stepping into the bucket. He's not driving through the throw. You can see how he slams his foot down instead of really stepping through it and into the throw. So late, mechanics weren't great there for Moore. 3 plays left. I know I had a lot of Moore in this one. This is another one where I don't love it. Again, not the best game for Moore. It's not going to sink the eval on him. But to the top here, again, we talked about this concept. You're typically going to read 1 to 2. The 1 is making like even if there's just a cloud there, the cloud corner, he's expanding with that. The 2 is open all day on this throw. He doesn't throw it for whatever reason. I believe this is not a third down situation, so it's not a ball. Yeah, it's first down. It's 1st and 10. Why are we not throwing this to the 2 here from Dante Moore? And again, like maybe it's a thing where, hey, we're down late. I want to make a big play or whatever it is, but he's expanding. He's gaining depth. The 2 is wide open. Deliver it to him for a good 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards, whatever it is. Instead, reverse pivots, gets outside, throws the ball out of bounds. Right, so. Another one where I'm not loving his decision making, and he's getting a little bit panicky on that.
What grade would you give him for this game overall?
Grade D+, C-. Not a great game for him. Even and I get like it's Indiana's defense and stuff like that, but you saw him late to the seam right there. You saw him not throw that out route on what I call a hawk concept. You saw him not throw the number 1 when he was open, and then the transitional footwork to get back there. The eyes are bouncing, so he had quite a few bad plays in this game. But again, it doesn't sink the entire review, the entire eval of him. So this is one. Vertical shot, and the receiver alligator arms it versus another 3 cloud defense from Indiana. Again, they rotate into it. A lot of like rotations, pre-snap disguises and stuff from Indiana. They're definitely a well-coached defense, but it's another situation where, or not another situation for him in this game. It only happened, one other time, but he delivers the ball well in terms of like the idea of this throw is, again, with these, you're typically going to read the seam to the outside right here. And he sees the seam is getting covered by the DB over the top. He's going to get his eyes to number 1 and realize, hey, I could fit this ball into this receiver before this safety collapses. So he puts the ball with some decent heat on it. The receiver, I think, sees the safety coming and doesn't want to take a hospital ball. So he kind of shortchanges it, tries to work inside of the safety. Like he's just trying to angle himself inside, catch the ball, and then take off to the inside to avoid the hit. But if he continues vertically here, he might take a shot, but it's a ball that he probably should be completed. It lands at about the 16-yard line. So if he just continues, like it's probably going to be a completion. So it's a play that, hey, it's not a great play, or it doesn't look good on the stat sheet, but Moore made the right decision there. Getting to the number 2 there, but the receiver short arms it because he's afraid of the hit or he's trying to make a play on the ball. But regardless, it's more of a bad play by the receiver. This one's an RPO. Typically, again, with these, you're going to, and I say typically because I hate to speak in absolutes unless I absolutely know, but you're most likely going to read the flat to the actually, hold on, let me see this. Does he stay in the block? If he stays in the block, you typically read high to low here. If he doesn't, if he's out immediately, you're going to read flat to the corner out there. Okay, he doesn't stay in the block. So it's probably going to be 1 to 2. This is his final pass at Oregon. So I put it in here. It's a touchdown pass. RPO, I think he just pulls it because he wants to make a play. Flat's covered. Scramble drill, keeps the eyes up, sees number 83 with his eyes on him, trusts him to win to the inside, puts it on him, touchdown for Moore for the last play of his college career. Yeah, no, it was a good throw on the run and all of that stuff. Again, not the best review of him in that game. And again, I know I went through it quickly just for sake of time because I have 22 plays to do, but not going to sink the eval on him for one game. Obviously not great though, right?
No, of course not. But as I said earlier, you don't judge a quarterback good or bad on one game. Justin Fields threw 6 touchdowns and had 400 total yards against Clemson, and we were all thinking he's going number 2 to the Jets. He's the guy. Not only does he not go number 2 to the Jets, he doesn't go as the 3rd quarterback taken that year either, and it turns out he stinks. He's not any good. Julian Sayin scored just 10 points against Indiana this year when he was quarterbacking Ohio State. He's a top prospect. He had a touchdown and 2 picks against Miami in the playoffs. Like Caleb Williams threw 1 touchdown, had 3 picks against Notre Dame his last year in school. Drake May had 0 touchdowns and 2 picks in a 39-10 loss in the ACC championship game several years ago. Again, one game does not define a prospect ultimately. If you're tuned in live right now, Joe Blewett is our guest. I have a Wayne Corbett signed helmet that is up for grabs in the Asmaniac raffle. The first person to enter the raffle today is Derek, the Jet fan, who yesterday won an autographed Curtis Martin helmet. So, Derek, thank you. We are 39 minutes in, and you're the leader in the clubhouse right now. All right, before we do some Mendoza stuff, and we could condense the Mendoza film, Joe, just because I think as of right now, it feels like the Jets won't be in play to get him. When you now take into account all the film you've looked at on Dante Moore, if he's there at number 2, assuming he declares, and you're the Jets, would you take him? Let's just say all things are equal here. Like, don't factor in the Jets in particular, their coaching situation. Just as a prospect, is Dante Moore, in your opinion, worth the number 2 pick in the draft?
It's such a hard, it's such a hard decision, honestly. I don't love any of the quarterbacks at the top. I do think they're all flawed. I think Sabo's in here, and we kind of agree on that eval. Like they don't necessarily deserve to be there, but quarterbacks are elevated. I would, but to me personally, Moore is my 3. So I would take Simpson at 2 over Moore. I'd personally rather wait until 16 and draft Simpson. But the problem is, do you risk the Cardinals? Do you risk the Browns? Do you risk the Rams? Do you risk the Steelers obviously trading up? So it's a heavy risk. So in my perfect world, it would be like a Simpson at 16 or a slight trade up to get Simpson over Moore at 2. I do think that like before this game, I said that they should take him at 2 or they would take him at 2. I don't think the Indiana game ruins it. So I would say yes. The Jets should, and they probably will, but I would like to go elsewhere in terms of, again, somehow grabbing Simpson even before Moore, just in general, or somehow trading up. Like, I think if you trade, like, and again, I know people don't want to do it. People hate Simpson because of the results and whatever else, and they don't take into context all the time what's happening with him. But if you can trade up from like 16 to 10 or 11 with like a second round pick to secure your quarterback, is that something that they would do? Potentially. Do I love Moore at 2? No, I don't love Mendoza at 1. Being honest, I wouldn't love Mendoza at 2. I don't love Moore at 2. I don't love Simpson at 2. But where the Jets are with quarterbacks, I'd rather take the risk. Like, while acknowledging it's not perfect, I'd rather take the risk there with the quarterback than just kicking the can down the road in general. Now, I understand there's some context to it with the Aaron Glenn stuff, whatever it may be. But what happens in 20? Like we've talked about this 1,000 times, right, Jake? Okay, 27. They pick at pick 11. There's 3 quarterbacks who come out. Picks 1, 2, and 3 all need quarterbacks, and they say, stuff it. We're not trading anything, or we're not trading this pick to you, and then you're screwed next year too. So if you like the quarterback, if you think he can be something, then take him at 2, and I think they ultimately will, because it's risky to wait until 16.
I'm excited to do more Simpson film review as we get fully into the offseason, because you're on an island right now, at least among like the Jet fan base with Simpson. It feels like a lot of people have already just said, oh, nope, can't take him, which I think is ridiculous. I don't know if I would take him at 2, but I'm right there with you. I think you have to factor in the circumstances these quarterbacks are in. Again, Indiana is a well-oiled machine. I think Mendoza's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in this draft. But again, he's in the best situation. Look at the offensive line. Look at the weapons he has. Cignetti, I think right now, Joe, pound for pound is the best coach in any sport. I don't care about football. He right now is coaching at a level that I don't know if we will ever see anyone do what he's doing at Indiana, a team that hadn't won anything in 100 years. He has gone out there and has lost 2 games in 2 years. They haven't lost this year. They have 3 wins over top 5 AP ranked teams. And here they are undefeated with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in the national title game next week.
Yeah, I don't care about like 5-star, 4-star, 3-star transfer, whatever it is. He has these guys bowling out. He's a great coach. He definitely sets up Mendoza very well on offense, and the defense doesn't put a ton of pressure on the offense. And again, that's some of the context that's needed. Like, I'm not going to say Simpson because I'm the Simpson homer at this point, but like if you put Moore on Indiana and Mendoza on Oregon, is a different story. And I think it would be. I'm not saying that Moore would be the number 1 pick or anything like that, but he definitely has some of the. I'm not saying that Oregon's coach is bad either. I think their offense is actually pretty good as well. But Mendoza is working with an excellent staff, and you go from Cignetti to Charles London and Aaron Glenn. So that would be a problem with Mendoza for me. And again, like he's a guy who there's questions about the pocket presence. There's a question about being proactive versus reactive versus pressure. There's a lot of RPOs in his game. It's a lot of 3-step drop, get rid of the ball quickly, where he has to do a little bit more and it gets sketchy sometimes. So it's not like Mendoza doesn't need development either. Like it's not like, oh, well, Jets couldn't even ruin Mendoza. That's unequivocally not true. But yeah, guys like Moore and Simpson may need more seasoning, even though I do think that with Simpson, he needs less seasoning than you think he does. Like he makes a lot of checks at the line. He deals with a lot of pressures and stuff, but he adjusts. He'll call the mic. He'll change the play. He'll kill the play. I think he processes pretty well. Simpson's problem is, like we've talked about a little bit, the size, the lack of starts, some of the accuracy issues specifically later. But again, I'm a Simpson shill, but I have 123 plays coming out of him. I think I'm doing 41 tonight. So I'll provide plenty of evidence for the people who want to watch that. If you do, you're a psychopath, but I appreciate you.
We are all psychopaths. We root for this franchise for some damn reason. Sean Horton in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Sean. We will do some Mendoza coming up shortly. Yeah. This one's from Ja. Tomlin would never come to the Jets, and neither would Harbaugh. Okay, so say they don't come to the Jets. Those guys would get jobs, and then that would leave qualified coaches like Mike McCarthy, Cliff Kingsbury, Kevin Stefanski. They all would still be available. The offensive guys that haven't gotten a chance yet. Joe Brady, Clint Kubiak. I'm interested in this 30-year-old boy genius that's the OC of the Jaguars that's now getting head coaching interviews. That's, again, where the league is going. So the idea that, because you couldn't get Tomlin or Harbaugh, it means you keep Glenn. No, this helps the Jets actually get a better coach than Aaron Glenn, because those guys will take other jobs, and that still leaves qualified candidates for the Jets to still get someone that's way better than someone who's historically awful.
It'd be so nice to start over. It really would. But again, I just hope for the best at this point. Historical outlier. Twitter is an absolute cesspool right now. I'm sure your chat is and stuff too, with like people arguing and whatever else it may be. But to get a clean break for this team and this franchise would be excellent. Again, it's really about the quarterback and dedicating $100 million to players that the new coach may not want. Like it's not even just the quarterback, it's the players. Like what happens if you sign a bunch of 4-3 guys? The new coach comes in and is like, shit, I want to play 3-4. None of these guys fit. And you're turning over the roster year after year to try to get that coach's vision implemented. So there's plenty of good candidates out there. Now, I'm not saying there won't be in 2027, but it's an unknown. Like there's a good pool out there now. So I would like to see them strike while the iron's hot, but unfortunately, I don't think they will.
Are we ready for Fernando Mendoza, Joe Blewett?
Yeah, I could do his really. I could do it even quicker because again, I know people are they're not as interested in Mendoza now because he's probably close to being a lock at number 1, if not a lock. So I have 10 plays. I could do them really quickly. I'll do a super lightning round on him.
Let it rip.
Okay. So this is an aggressive slot fade, 3rd and 4. He dovetails the drop a little bit just to get just to get lined up with where he wants to throw the ball. So we're going to be looking toward the top here. So I believe it's just going to be like another typically slot fade concept where it's going to be like a hitch and a slot fade. You're going to read the slot first. And it's 3rd and 4 and he's aggressive. Like he trusts his receivers to make plays, clean pocket. But he puts it back shoulder, which is great. So he trusts his receivers, rifling that ball and trusting the receiver. But all he's seeing is, safety high. He's not going to get over top of this one-on-one matchup. 3rd and 4. I like my chances with my receiver. Fire playing the ball. Boom. We have a contested catch for Mendoza. Again, I'll run through this really quick. Pre-snap check. So this is a RPO. I believe he's just gonna read this matchup pre-snap and say this is what I call a knife concept. It's just a variation of smash where it's going to be the corner route from the inside here, and then whether it be an in or a slant from the outside. But I think pre-snap he's reading. He's looking this way. Okay, I got an inside leverage DB versus an outside breaking route. Right, like sometimes it's as simple as that. Decides to pull the ball is an RPO. He likes this matchup right here with a slot, delivers the ball, nice timing, nice location to the top of the screen. So good ball from Mendoza, good decision to pull it based on pre-snap. And that's what you're getting from Mendoza is the pre-snap stuff. I love the pre-snap reads and just knowing where to go with the ball. That's a big reason like why he's so successful with RPOs and things like that. And that's a perfect example of why. This is one of my favorite plays of the game, and it's a scramble, but this is something that I want to see him do more of is proactive versus reactive in pressure. And pre-snap, he's kind of peeking over here to this side. And I think he sees this corner is kind of showing us some weird body language in terms of like staring at him and kind of loading up off that outside foot. We're going to see him post-snap. I believe he doesn't even check the safety. He checks this corner, sees if this route's open really quickly, and then takes off. So he's being proactive versus reactive versus pressure, which is huge for him because it's one of my concerns with his game. So I love this play just based on where I'm currently at with his evaluation, because that's a big step in the right direction, in my opinion. But you can see him kind of peeking over there, right? I think he maybe checks that safety really quickly as the ball is snapped, gets his eyes immediately to the outside. I forget what the route was to the slot right there, but he probably checks that really quickly. As soon as it's not open, knows that blitz is not going to be picked up because of the protection, sees an alley through this beast second, and he'll break a tackle, maybe get sacked. But the proactiveness there is very, very nice in my opinion. And again, read the slot first here, over the top. Mendoza on that one for me.
And Joe, one thing I noticed with Mendoza, he's such a better athlete than what people say about him. Like, they're like, oh, he's Kirk Cousins, he's Jared Goff. He's way more mobile than both of those guys.
Yeah, I could say that's something that I changed in my notes about him was, again, I don't think he's a guy you're going to be designing a read option for or anything like that. But
he's not a statue. They made it sound like he's like strictly a drop back guy and like, oh, he's a sitting duck if he doesn't have good protection.
No, exactly. I've I don't know, Madden sliders. Like I've increased his speed a little bit. I've increased his acceleration a little bit from my initial watching of him. I think the area where he struggles the most with athleticism, and still I want to hammer it home, like he's not going to be a guy you're going to hit read option with, maybe like once a game on like a gimme type of play. But with him, the lack of like the air quote, like lack of athleticism more comes from like throwing off platform for me more so than like, hey, just running in a straight line or acceleration, things like that. But no, he's more athletic than Kirk Cousins. He's more athletic than Jared Goff in terms of like the foot speed and the acceleration and stuff like that. So he's definitely not like Peyton Manning or Kirk Cousins. So sack. This is one I'm not going to kill him on. They just go, they go, I call it like Y trips to the bottom because he's involved with it. Nonetheless, who cares? It's 3x1 gun. And that's another thing with him too. He exclusively works from gun. So you have to develop his under center game as well. But this one, it's 3rd and long, right? So this is a sack that people are like, oh, you can't take a sack here, whatever it may be. Okay, it is what it is. But with this like flood or sail concept, it's going to be the 1 to the 2 to the 3. And what he sees right here is obviously the 1 over the top. He doesn't want it. And maybe he could throw it, but just based on this relationship, but you have this DB gaining some depth underneath of it. So he's going to come off of that. But then when he gets to the 2 right here, what he sees is, okay, this corner, who's the conflict right now, I can't throw this deeper out because he's sinking underneath of it. But with that being said, he's sinking underneath of it. The hips are open to the inside. Let me throw the intermediate route here. And he's waiting for it to be, he's waiting a little bit to confirm that it's open because of the leverage here. He has to really there's a lot of ground across horizontally there. So he wants that where people will be like, oh, well, without context, hit the flat right here. This is not open, but it's 3rd and long, right? So it's a situation where he wants that. Now it's a sack, almost fumble. He tries to make a play. It is what it is. I can't be being really nitpicky. Like, do you want to put this ball maybe a little bit more outside instead of the inside? Like, right? Let him attack the green grass instead of let him fight through contact right there. But so it's a good throw by him. It could be a little bit more outside. But with that being said, it's a thing where we have to acknowledge like these receivers are making plays for him pretty consistently as well, right? Like that's part of it. Good throw by him, but also just as good, if not a better play by the receiver. So you have to take that into account. And because you didn't see the safety rotate, or not even rotate over, he gains depth. And I think he's looking there because he looks like he's looking to the left at this. I don't think he is. I think he's looking at the safety here because it wouldn't make sense typically with concepts to go to crosser to vertical here. Typically you go vertical to crosser, then to the 3. So I think he checks the safety, sees him not widening over top of this, gets his eyes to the top and just sees the matchup of receiver, outside leverage, yard over the top, put the ball on him. Good location. He's to slow down a little bit, but he, again, 4 left. Let's see here. Alert on leverage, meeting room, NFL throw. Okay, yeah. So this might be a situation where like this is isolated. So I'm assuming this is an alert pre-snap. I don't think you're going to go. I don't think you're not going to go one. Maybe let me see what the other routes are. It could be 1 to 2 to 3. I don't think so. I think it's, the concept is probably 1 to 2 to 3. This is an alert. Or both of these could be alerts versus certain coverages or leverages that they want to throw this. So I think pre-snap he sees this DB over the top isolated and he wants to take that matchup. So I believe it's an alert. I can't guarantee that, but I believe this is a pre-snap thing where he wants that matchup. And the timing of this throw is great, right? Throws the ball as the receiver is getting into the break, maybe overstrides there a little bit, but puts the ball outside leverage, really good timing, fits the ball in there. If that's 6 inches in terms of the throw, like that is a great throw. So his accuracy is excellent. The pre-snap reads are excellent for him. Underrated athleticism, in my opinion. And there's a reason he's going 1, 2, 3 left. Let's say this bouncing a little bit here, where he could check the safety and get to the 1, and then he gets to the crossers, or it could be it could be the crosser to the outside to the flat. I don't love the footwork in terms of like transitionally. We'll just look at it from the back view. I'm trying to expedite these a little bit, but either checks the safety or that inside route, and then just watch the feet and how like they're a little bit wonky here in terms of like getting back and forth. Like he's not super. Let's get down there. Stick nod touchdown or toast that you can see just he checks the receiver, checks the middle of the field, hits it for a touchdown stick nod and 1 play left. I think this one, okay, so we have a smash concept here, and then he gets to the crosser. So smash concept with this one, and you could, again, certain offenses read this certain ways. It could be 1 to 2 with this being an alert. Certain offenses will read it 1 to 2 to 3. Completely depends on the offense. Regardless,
how does Charles London teach this?
I don't do. I can't. No comment. No comics. I honestly, with the Jets, how they read smash, I think it depends. I think they typically read the high to the low on their smashes, and it's not just an alert, but nonetheless, reads the top, nothing open, right? Pretty buttoned up on the top here. Gets his eyes to the 3 or the 2, whatever you want to call him, on the crosser. Sees that he's beating that DB, linebacker, whatever he is, delivers the ball back line of the end zone. Linebacker closes ground too. That's why I put so much heat on the ball, just in case that linebacker tries to drift over. Great play by Mendoza, and that is it for the expedited Mendoza.
Well done, everyone. Give some love to our guy Joe Blewett in the chat for an awesome film review. Let's get to some super chats here. If you guys want in on the conversation with Joe, the link is pinned. I also have a video I want to play for Joe featuring the Joe Beningo of Raiders Sports Talk, a guy I actually know pretty well, JT the Brick. He's a huge Yankees fan. He's a native New Yorker, but he works for the Raiders official flagship station. So he was talking about Fernando Mendoza. He's all in on him, wants the Raiders to take him, unless the New York Jets come calling and offer, ready for this?
This is an opportunity that the Raiders have. The only way they talk themselves out of this deal is that they get an offer they cannot refuse. And if they get that offer and they can't refuse it, then we have a real debate, embrace debate topic. We have nothing now, nothing. But what the topic will be is if they draft day, or draft week, we find out that the Jets are offering 4 first-round picks, 3 or a player, and the Raiders go from 1 to 2. They don't go from 1 to 16. They go from 1 to 2. So they're going to get the second best player in the draft. They might even get Dante Moore, plus have 3 more first-round picks. And then the debate begins. That's the debate. Yes.
Okay. Joe Blewett, I know the Jets are dumb, but do you think they are that dumb where they would actually trade 4 ones to move up 1 spot, or 3 and a player to move up from 2 to 1 for Fernando Mendoza?
Yeah, I would do it. That's the end of the story. It's just like that's a crazy one. And then there was also somebody, like, I don't know if it was like Kirk Bentkert or whatever, like the old quarterback from the Packers, but he was talking about like the Steelers trading up from wherever they are to like 2, and he's like, oh, the Jets will get a 1st round pick and a 2nd round pick. It's like, that's it to move up 16 spots, whatever it is, like a crazy stupid trade scenario on the opposite side of the spectrum where the Jets don't get enough. And then here we're giving up, what was it ours plus 3 more 1st round draft picks, or was it 4? I almost tuned him out. It was
he proposed 2 trades. Yeah, he said 4 ones or 3 ones and a player. So what does he want? Like the Raiders offensive line sucks. So 3 ones and Joe Tippmann? Like, is that what they want? Like,
no, absolutely not. Like now, if it's a conversation where like the Jets were ready for a quarterback, they had good organizational structure. They were like, like the Chiefs this year. Obviously not the Chiefs don't count because of Patrick Mahomes, but like if they were in a spot where they're just a quarterback away and I was really confident, then hey, if you want to trade 3 first-round draft picks, if it was a Joe Burrow or a Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck, level prospect, even though they're on different tiers a little bit there, but just some examples. Yeah, maybe you do that, but to move up 1 spot for Mendoza, I don't think, definitely not. Again, the gap between Mendoza, Moore, and Simpson's way too small for me to do that. Now, if they had like extreme conviction in him and wanted to trade a first or a second, I wouldn't do it personally because I don't think the gap is that large, if at all. But if the Jets did it, I would understand. But yeah, 3 first-round draft picks and a player or something like no, absolutely not.
Again, if I'm trading 3 first-round picks and a player, I'm getting Joe Burrow. I'm getting Lamar Jackson. I'm getting someone that is a bona fide star that has proved it, not a top draft prospect in a year where, look, I like Mendoza a lot. I don't know if he's Andrew Luck. I don't know if he's Joe Burrow, where like you knew the guy was going to be good right away, great right away, pretty much. Like, I'm not willing to say that. I like Mendoza a lot. I think the fact that he's as smart as any prospect we've had is going to help him. He'll be able to handle a lot of what is going to be asked of him. So I like him. I think that matters to me. I care so much about the between the brain stuff after living through the Zach Wilson and Justin Fields experiences these last few years. But that's a crazy trade. And also, someone will have to confirm this. I don't believe there's ever been a trade where a team went from 2 to 1 in the NFL draft. I don't think it's ever happened. We had 3 to 2 a couple of years ago with Mitch Trubisky. That happened. I don't think there's ever been a team trading from number 2 to number 1. And the reason why I know this is when I did radio in Houston, the Texans, after they blew the number 1 pick the last game of the year, they liked Bryce Young better than CJ Stroud. They tried to move up from 2 to 1, couldn't get a deal done, and they quote unquote settled for CJ Stroud. But at that time, we were talking about the fact it's never happened in NFL history. I believe that remains the case. So I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah. It's just the gap is not there. And again, I'm not making this. I get Mendoza being the number 1 overall prospect. Again, Josh Rosen was a guy who's can't miss because of the mental stuff. So you can't just say he's not missed. There's no such thing as a can't miss prospect. Now you have guys like Burrow or Andrew Luck who are like, okay, they're probably not going to miss. But and in that scenario where Joe Burrow is coming out, like, hey, yeah, maybe we consider a trade like that, even though you probably still don't. But Mendoza is not that level of prospect for me to be trading that many first round draft picks. I rather, again, my perfect scenario, if I could be somewhat realistic, I would be sweating it out on draft night. I really, really would be like Bain at 2 and Simpson at 16. Like that's my perfect type of scenario for draft day. Me personally, I don't think he lasts till 16. I think the evaluations are going to start to come out. I think we texted about this maybe last week where like, it feels like the people you're talking to at least have him a little bit higher than at least the chat does. So maybe they're more aligned with me where I think Simpson's going to go. If I had to bet top half of the first round, maybe top 10. Again, quarterbacks are elevated. So it's going to be sketchy to wait for him for 16. But yeah, if you could tell me right now, like Bain and Simpson, about my stamp of approval. With that being said, I still have to watch Bain, so I could hate him in 2 weeks. But just going off of the consensus.
Speaking of Bain, I'm hoping he blows up the field in an AFC Championship game if it's Bills Patriots in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Without the players on the field though, right? Not with Hines Ward running and a bunch of players collapsing and falling through to their deaths. But yeah, no.
Wasn't Hines Ward a jet coach on Gase's staff a couple of years ago?
That's funny. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day because we were talking about Hines Ward. I'm like, yeah, he was on Jet staff in like 2021 or 2 or something like that.
I think it was with Gase, so I think it was before that. I think it was either 19 or 20.
Yeah. 20. Yeah, he was the receiver who was running in that, which is, by the way, I think that's probably my all-time favorite franchise is the Dark Knight trilogy, elite films right there. But nonetheless, yeah. And is Stroud going to be out for next game? Did he have an injury or something like that? Did I hear about that?
Nico Collins has a concussion. Stroud's healthy.
Stroud's healthy. Yeah, because I was working stuff like that. I was actually sleeping a little bit during that game. But yeah, man, I am really, really hoping it's not going to be Pats and Bills in the AFC Championship game, because who do you root for? Like last year's Super Bowl, Chiefs and Eagles. I can't root for either one of those teams. So please, God, just give me a Super Bowl where I don't care that, which team wins it. So go Texans, big time this week. And then On the opposite side, I'm rooting for teams like the I can't root for the Rams anymore because of Devontae Adams. I guess I'm rooting for the Bears on the NFC side, but the problem is Ben Johnson not shaking LaFleur's hand and all this stuff, and the cheese grater stuff. Like the Bears are kind of rubbing the wrong way too. But please God,
that's how
Bills,
we would
Pats.
be if we were Bears fans. Dude, we've been beaten by that'd be us beating the Patriots in the playoffs or the Bills finally. So I don't fault the Bears fans for going crazy. Like we would be bowing down at the altar to Ben Johnson if that was us. So I'll give them a pass for that. I get
that's exactly why. And I know people especially of our age. I think you're 2 years younger than me, but especially people of our age hate the Pats fans more than the Dolphins fans. But can you imagine if we had the success of the Patriots, how much shit we'd be talking? So I understand them more. We're it sucks. They win a lot. Boston with the Bruins, with the Sox, they win a ton. The Pats with all these Super Bowls, but we'd be just as insufferable, if not more, if the Jets won that much. We win 3 games in a row and we talk shit. So if we won that many Super Bowls, we talk crap. But that's why I hate the Dolphins more, because the Dolphins win nothing and they talk like they're the Pats. Right. So that's why they piss me off more than the other fan base. But nonetheless, please God, just eliminate the Pats and the Bills. I don't want to see either one of those go to the Super Bowl.
Go Texans, go Broncos this week. Those are where my rooting allegiances are, and I'm rooting for Sam Darnold now that Rodgers and the Steelers are out. I wanted to either see Seattle, Pittsburgh, or whoever's playing the Bills or Patriots advance. By the way, Hines Ward was, in fact, on the Jets staff in 19 and 20 with Gase. He was an offensive assistant. So there you go. Jet legend, if you will. Hines Ward. I also saw this before we get to some super chats here. So Kofi's a big Bengals fan. He tweeted, every team that lost to the Jets this year fired its head coach except one. Zach Taylor, by default, is the best head coach in the AFC North right now, Kofi. So hang in there. All right. I mean, How about the fact that Tomlin out, Harbaugh out, Stefanski out, and Zach Taylor still has a job? The Bengals, as bad as Woody is, there is no organization that is cheaper and ruining their opportunity to win with an all-time great quarterback in Burrow than the Bengals. That's almost worse. The Jets just suck and they're inept. I think it would kill me more to be a Bengals fan where you have Joe Burrow and you can't find a way to win with the guy. It's insane.
Yeah. They're you even hear CJ Hughes, I'm gonna kind of reference it a little bit and some other podcasts, not the Jets type podcast, but Barstool or is it Barstool? Who's with Taylor Lewan and whoever it is on the bus, Will Compton,
Busting with the boys.
Yeah, busting with the boys. He revealed a little bit there about how bad the facilities were and some stuff like that. So the Bengals are not a well-run organization. And like you said, is it just? It's not just as bad, no way, because we have it probably worse because at least they have hope. But to be so close with what I think is close to a Hall of Fame level quarterback, and they just don't do what's proper around him. The injuries obviously are a part of that, but it hurts, man, because I think they're kind of wasting his talent a little bit. I think that's probably people's biggest gripe with McCarthy is he has a good winning record and stuff like that. But did he underachieve with Aaron Rodgers, who, in my opinion, is a top 5 quarterback of all time? So I think that's people's main gripe with him. But yeah, Zach Taylor, again, we talked about it, I think last week. If Burrow didn't come in, he was probably going to get fired after that year because he was really underperforming. So yeah, he's probably the 4th best coach in that division, and he's the one who's going to stick around. So.
Amazing. Some super chats here. Again, Wayne Corbett sign helmet up for grabs on this show, on the morning show tomorrow. Henny says next year with 3 firsts, the Jets are an attractive job. It's more attractive right now, though, is the point. Because you don't need to allow Glenn and Muji spend all this money on what Glenn wants in a particular player or what whoever the DC wants in a particular player on defense. And then you have a new regime coming in a year from now, and some of those players might not fit what they had. Now, you hope they hire coaches that can adapt to the players they have, because that's been an issue, of course, with Glenn. All these players that we've seen be good, like Sherwood, Quincy, Sauce, Quinnen, everyone stunk. They all got worse. But again, the job with 5 ones and $100 million in cap space this year and next year projected, it's at its most attractive to me right now when you're also picking number 2, especially if someone believes in Dante Moore or one of these other quarterbacks. But yeah, I do think it's attractive a year from now as well. I just think it's at its peak attractiveness, if you will, right now.
Yeah, like obviously minus the owner and stuff like that. Like in terms of the roster, the flexibility, cap wise, etc. Like it's like nearly a 10 out of 10 right now in terms of attractive. Again, minus Woody Johnson, the organ, all that other stuff. But in terms of like the roster and the assets, like it's very attractive. Where it's attractive next year, but just like you said, it's less so, right? Like $100 million to players you may not want. What happens if they draft a quarterback that doesn't fit their system that they want to run, or they draft, they bring in 4-3 guys versus 3-4 guys, or they bring in a receiver they don't necessarily like. He doesn't fit their system, or like give me the year earlier with $100 million more dollars to spend over those 2 years with 2 more first round draft picks. Like I understand it that it is attractive next year, but exactly like you said, it's just less so.
Comments, questions, super chats. Jetaholic says you should get John B from Locked On Jets here. You guys align well. I listen to a lot of Jets content. Most are down on Glenn. Joe, great breakdowns. There's still some content creators that are super positive. Richie from Jets Media is doing his best. I joined him and Matt on the AFC Jets roundtable we do every week. Boy Green is still delusional. I make fun of Paul all the time. I do my weekly hit with him and his co-host, Jim. And Boy Green is still holding that rope that Aaron Glenn's talking about. But I think a lot of the creators are we've had enough. You, me, Sabo, Tyson from Let's Talk Jets. Bubs had a great rant on their show yesterday, which was awesome. I know Ryan has come totally down on Glenn. Again, like there's just nothing that we could point to. I'm normally positive. I was very positive with Salah until I couldn't anymore. I used to be called a Zach Wilson truther until I literally couldn't anymore. I see nothing with this head coach, so I'm not going to fake it. They have to earn the benefit of the doubt. I'm not giving it to them. They gave us a 3-14 season and raised season ticket prices to the diehard Jet fan that deserves better.
Yeah, which is like specifically me. Like I've been a season ticket holder for quite a while. I canceled. I convinced my friends last year to cancel because exactly what I talked about with you in the preseason. It's like, why am I paying $100 for a game when 3 weeks into the season, 5 weeks into the season, I could be paying $50 for the $100 seats. So I got rid of my season tickets. But yeah, to consistently raise season ticket prices for these fans who have been through a shit ton the last 15 years is appalling from Woody Johnson. And like they don't even send anything out. I think what do they send out? Like a coupon for wine? Like that's what we get. Like thanks, man, sweet. I appreciate it. The wine is probably horrific, so I'm not going to drink it if it's anything like the Jets. But yeah, it's just it's an awful situation, honestly. But with those guys, like I don't know if they're younger, so maybe they're just like they haven't been scarred as much with the Jets. I don't see how they're positive. I would like to maybe listen and be like, what are they grasping onto with him? Is it hope? Is it blind faith? Is it I don't understand what you could say.
Well, I mean, he played for the Jets 30 years ago. You didn't know?
Yeah, sure. like, dude, like, you know what it is. Like, just because you're a player doesn't mean you can coach. Just because, yeah, in general, just because you're a player doesn't mean you can scout. Like, okay, yeah, he was great 30 years ago, but it's 2025, dude. I don't know. Even if I don't know, man. Maybe I gotta listen because I don't understand. I really don't understand.
Don't let go of the rope.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Speaking of which, how about this from our guy Ablab? He believes. Don't let go of the rope. Hit it, Ablab.
Just don't let go of the rope.
I appreciate you, Ablab. You are in for 10. And by the way, Ablab, if you missed the first show today, you won a weekly raffle prize. You won a replica Joe Namath Super Bowl III ring. So you and I will be in touch, and we'll make sure we get that sent to you. Thanks for all your support of the show. Matt L checking in. He joins the Wayne Corbett helmet raffle. He is in for 5. Give him a hug. Woody.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Man, those hugs after 3-14, I heard were never better. Woody loved it. He loved the losing. He was thrilled with it.
Yeah, like Ablab said, I think his hug is the rope hugging his neck. Not to make that type of joke, but I don't understand. Otherwise, that's how I feel right now as a Jets fan.
Man, Al Gonzalez writes in, Jake and Joe, what are the chances the Jets are very quietly putting out feelers to head coaches behind the scenes? Yeah. If you are worth your salt as an owner, you are. I have very little faith in this ownership.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great question for Jake. I'll be very transparent in where I'm weak in terms of like, can they put out feelers? How exactly does that work at the NFL level? I'm not sure. Obviously, if Glenn hears about it, it's going to create some ripples in the organization. So I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, if they're not putting out feelers to these guys' agents or something like, hey, we could guarantee if we fire Glenn, we'll hire your guy, something like that. Like, is that
that's how you do it, though?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Manish
Meta had a story last week that in 2018 or 19, the Jets, through intermediaries, reached out to Harbaugh's people before he signed an extension with the Ravens. They had Bowles and McCagnon employed at that time. So this happens constantly. Why do you think Marcus Freeman all of a sudden just re-upped and got an extension? He was talking with NFL teams potentially. So you see it in the college levels. You see it in the pro levels too. It's not as out there in the open, but this happens at the highest levels of the NFL with ownership. So Woody should be doing that. Again, aren't you tired of losing, Woody? Aren't you sick of being a laughingstock? Oh, but if he fires Glenn, he'll be mocked for getting rid of a legendary Jet after they traded away their two best players. Anyone with a brain saw that Aaron Glenn was the most obvious one and done. Everyone will point to 8 of the 10 last coaches that were one and done. Their replacement made the playoffs in their tenure. Look at the Patriots. Enough said.
I wonder if, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but I wonder if he were to keep Saleh the entire year last year, if he'd be quicker to pull the trigger this year. Like, did he hear, did he hear the murmurs or whatever, Jets Twitter? I know he pays attention. Obviously, we were referenced at JetX about them reading or whatever the hell they were doing with JetX. Did he hear all of that stuff? He was like, yeah, I don't want to pull the trigger too quick 2 times in a row. But like you said, he'd be a historical outlier at this point if he worked out. So if they can contact Brady, whoever it is, like, dude, we guarantee you the job if you can guarantee us that you'll come here and then fire Glenn. I would absolutely love that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that would take a competent owner, and I don't think Woody's a competent owner. Again, the Mike Tannenbaum stuff, dude. And like I tell you, I listen to that because it entertains me. I said last week, I don't like the way that he kind of takes like shots at you, like passively, where you can't really address it. This week, you did not let him throw a shot at you. You're like, basically shut up and let me talk, which I absolutely love. So big balls from Jake there. I love it. But when you hire a guy who you fired to then bring in the GM, it's like, how does that make sense? Like, this guy wasn't a good GM. We fired him, but we're going to then bring him in to then recommend who's going to be a good GM. Like, in what world? So I don't think Woody's competent. So I don't know.
He doesn't have football context. So his context is a guy who had success with 15 years ago. Yeah, right.
I mean,
that's really it.
People, and like, obviously Spielman's a part of it right now. He's part of the front offense. Is he in Woody's ear too? Like, no, this Glenn guy is good. Like, just give him some time. And like, who is in his ear? And like, Woody Johnson's dumb enough, not to be offensive, like, he's dumb enough to buy the rah stuff. Like, I'm going to come in and make them play tough. He's like, yeah, like, cool. And maybe that's because of the past experience with Rex Ryan, right? Because like Rex Ryan was that brash guy. So you have another brash guy coming in. He's like, this is what worked in the past. So now I'm going to buy into it again. But clearly this is not the way of the NFL. Sabo hits that religiously.
And also Rex, for all, his quirks, and he was funny, but he had brash bravado. Rex Ryan was the best defensive mind in the sport when he became the Jet head coach. Yep. He was an innovator on that side of the ball. Now the league is certainly not what it was then. Today, it is. I don't think Rex would be successful in 2025, 2026. He would have to really adapt and change how he approached the game of football. But the Glenn Rex stuff, Rex was a strategist. He built the best defense in the league. Like the Jets were running these exotic blitz schemes without having true dominant pass rushers. You give Rex what the Jets had on defense this year. Oh my God, it's so much different.
Yeah, Calvin Pace, like Brian Thomas, like a lot of their.
He beat Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the playoffs in back-to-back weeks.
Dude, that game in 2009, the home opener. After what was the first week? Did they beat the Titans? Was that the first week or
Houston in week 1? Yeah, Chancey Stuckey had a big touchdown that day.
I don't know if you were there that game for that second week, but I live to be in those environments again. Like, it sucks going to Jets games. Like, you're talking about Woody being embarrassed. The dude, apparently there's a rumor. I don't know, a rumor, but I don't know if it's substantiated or not, that he didn't go to the last 3 games, which is abnormal for him. So, you were there, Jake?
I watched the game with my dad, but I remember Rex gave all the fans the game ball, so I bought this years ago for my personal collector's item. This is one of my favorite wins as a Jet fan. Rex says we're not here to kiss Belichick's rings. His first game ever against the Patriots. The Jets win 16-9 and shut down Brady in that offense. Prime Randy Moss. Revis had a pick in that game. It's one of the best regular season wins in the last 17 years for this franchise.
I think the best. That game, the Pats game in 2015 was obviously a huge one. I went into that game and my friend said it maybe a little bit drunkenly, so we kind of had to do it after. But it was like, if they win this game, we're going to Buffalo. They win the game. We sign up. We go to Buffalo and we get shit on. It was awful. But yeah, man, I just live for those moments where we can actually be excited as a fan base. Like going to that Pats game and excellent tickets, and I actually just got the Ken O'Brien jersey, which I got to hang up. But nonetheless, and appreciate that. But going to the game, like seeing the players booed at intros and like Jets fans cheering and being told to sit down and shut up basically by Pats fans, like there's legit that going on. Like, hey, sit down. Like we own your stadium right now. It is embarrassing. I can't wait for the days of being able to go to games and actually feel like a home field advantage and things like that. It sucks, man. We deserve it more than anybody, truly.
This was one of the coolest parts of that win. Remember Rex Ryan called the voice, left the voicemail to Jet season ticket owners. There's people alive that regularly watch my show that don't remember the Rex years. This was when it was the coolest to be a fan of the Jets.
Hey, this is Rex Ryan, the head coach of the New York Jets. And I just wanted to let you know how much we need you this week. I've already admitted that, hey, the Patriots have a better head coach and they got a better quarterback than us. But we're going to see who's got a better team. And the thing the other part the reason I'm so confident is that they got to face you and they got to face the rest of our fans. And my challenge to you is that we need you at your best. So let's come get ready to go for 4 quarters, get after them, especially when our defense is up there. We really need you. We want it to be miserable for Brady and company and seem like there's 13 or 14 guys out there on defense. It's tough enough when we just have 11, but when our fans are into it, it's almost impossible to do anything against us. So that's my challenge to you. And, again, I admit that I'm not as good as Belichick, but at the end of the game, I want to be 1-0 against him. So help me out if you don't mind. So that's my challenge, okay? Thank you. Bye.
I mean, to say that and then back it up and hold Brady to 9 points. Oh my God, that was the loudest Giant Stadium ever was for a regular season Jet game.
In the upper section of that stadium, too, I don't know if people remember, but they had like AC units that were like running across the top. My hands were bruised from slapping the shit out of that AC unit. Like there's like debris falling down and stuff, and no wonder why they got out of that stadium. But yeah, it's really that game, and then obviously the Rodgers game. But past that, like the stadium's been not obviously full. It sucks to go to the games again. I go for the tailgates and stuff. That's really the only reason I'm there. But it'd be so nice to walk into an actual fun game. It is interesting though. I wondered how that would go over nowadays by admitting that you're not as good of a head coach, even though obviously it's Belichick at that time and our quarterback's not as good. People are like, oh my God, like why are you saying that? But I love the brashness of Rex. Like this, it just sucks that we're holding on to this 15 years later. Like that gave me like, not to be weird, it gave me like tingles. Like I'm getting like excited about Rex Ryan talking 16 years ago. Like, just give us something, man. Just please God, give us something. Even 8-9 wins, just give us something to be excited about.
Oh my God, just go 9-8 one year, man. Jeez, that's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Sad. Carlos says, thanks to Jake As for the shadow. I have a signed Rex Ryan midi helmet that's certified in a case. Jake, you're the best. Carlos, I'm glad it arrived safely. I meant to email you. I didn't tell you this. So it's a Rex Ryan and the other signature on the helmet is Mark Sanchez, just so you know. So it's Rex and Sanchez signed on a helmet. A little surprise for you, Carlos. I meant to email you, but I completely forgot. I've been so busy with everything going on. Some super chats here. But first, Joe Blewett in the raffle. Are you kidding me? 5 gifted memberships. Give this man a hug.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Blewett in there. Let's go.
I don't want to hug. I want to Woody Johnson.
You want a new head coach?
No, exactly. No, but yeah, obviously I appreciate the chat and you, and just based on my history of donating memberships, I donated 5 times. I'm winning, so it'd be stupid for me maybe not to try to win a an autograph football or whatever else it is, the helmet. So I appreciate you in the chat. So got to throw some money in there for you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Oregon Jets. Jake, you were critical of the Jets for having a running back coaching QBs. The film guy breaking down quarterbacks was a running back. Thoughts, please. Were you a running back, Joe Blewett?
I don't know where he's coming off of that. I played running back, receiver, safety, and corner in high school. But yeah, I guess sure. I don't know. But thank you, Oregon. I know he's a Moore guy, and I'm not as big on Moore, so I don't think Oregon Jets loves me. But thank you for the super chat to Jake, regardless.
Love it. What do we got here? We got some more super chats here. Carlos, who we just talked about, he's in the raffle for 2. He says Dante Moore fits the modern NFL QB mold with quick mechanics, high IQ, poise, and smart mobility. With the Jets defense, weapons, and veteran leadership, he could develop patiently and properly. That's if the Jets could actually build a quarterback room where he wouldn't need to play. I get worried they get out to a bad start. The lever Glenn pulls to try and save his job is the same thing Dable did with Dart, and that wasn't enough. And then, Dart was able to overcome it. He looked good. I think the job's attractive because of that. Not everyone can, and that's a real problem.
Yeah, I just like with the Jets' defense, weapons, veteran leadership, he could develop what defense, what veteran leadership. Minus like Garrett Wilson, I think good veteran leader. Loved his Twitter game this week. I loved Brownlee as well. Like I just love how much of a dog he is, like coming after Stephen A. Smith and stuff. He just got here, so I love how he defends the Jets. But veteran past that, there's not a lot of veteran leadership. The defense there's holes everywhere. And then more with the quick mechanics. Yes. Like there's some footwork problems we went over a little bit. Like he steps in the bucket way too much. Sometimes he rushes reads versus pressure. And then my biggest problem with him versus Mendoza and Moore is I just see more NFL level anticipatory throws like over the middle and stuff like that from guys like Mendoza and Moore. And that's our Mendoza and Simpson. That's why Moore is my 3. But again, I'm not completely out on him. I said just because he's my 3 doesn't mean I hate him. Like and I know Oregon Jets, said all love. Like it's just it's a thin margin, just being transparent. So it's not like I hate Moore. I just see more NFL level stuff from the Mendozas and Simpsons. But also with that being said, he does have a lot of starts. He's 20 years old, so he could be good too.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your super chat. Sam in the raffle for 2. A lot of offensive players did not grow during Saleh's regime. What's the excuse for the team-wide decline? Lost all respect for Tannenbaum. A lot of the offensive players did not grow. I mean, I don't think the offensive coaching was good. I mean, look at the offensive coordinator was Nate Hackett.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like specific example. I get like Jeremy Rucker didn't really improve. Obviously, like Uzama came here, he disappointed. Laken Tomlinson sucks. Like, yeah, there wasn't a lot of development on the offensive side of the ball. What's the excuse for the team decline? The problem was they couldn't find the quarterback until late. They missed out on Zach Wilson, which people say they'll hate on me or even you for like the Zach Wilson stuff, but. What was the stat trick? Like 32 out of 32 or something like that. GM said he was a quarterback 2 in that draft. At that point, we see what Darnold is now, but at that point, Darnold was really, really struggling. There weren't a lot of people who wanted to keep him. A lot of like Monday morning quarterbacking people are saying, yeah, I wanted Darnold, but 85-90% of the fan base was seemingly out on Darnold. So he was the consensus number 2. They took him, they missed out on that. But a lot of their problems was like rookie staff. Like their first year, they brought in a rookie head coach, a rookie OC with a rookie quarterback with no veteran behind him. So it wasn't even like you had a Tyrod Taylor to develop a Zach Wilson. Like he had who was behind him his first year? I forget, but it wasn't anybody with many starts or anything like that. So
they had no one. They had James Morgan and Mike White. It was so bad that they made the trade for Joe Flacco in the middle of the season that year. Yeah. So they didn't surround him, and that's the part of the problem this year is like they did the same thing again with all the rookie staff. So yeah, they failed him offensively, and they didn't develop. They didn't develop talent, but they missed on quarterback. And then Rodgers got hurt. Like if Rodgers wasn't hurt in 23, maybe it's completely different. They won 7 games with Zach Wilson that year. I think if they have Rodgers that year, they're a 10-11 win team. They're going to the playoffs. 100%. Tom Roseman in the raffle for 1. Hell yes. Sabo with a good comment. A tremendous debt of gratitude owed to Eric Mangini for those Rex years. Mangini's the one who got away for Woody. Should have been the guy for a decade plus. I mean, Mangini's talent evaluation, second to none. Look at the major drop in draft class production from Mangini to Rex, and that ultimately did Tannenbaum in. The drafts just remember Rex had the private workout with Quentin Coples. We had to take him. And again, Mangini did Vernon Golston, so he wasn't perfect either. But, I mean, ultimately, like you just look at the Mangini drafts, the 06 draft. Today, by the way, happy birthday to Nick Mangold, the late great, would have been 42 today. The Mangold DeBrickashaw draft set those Jet teams up to be as successful as they were.
Yeah, no, Mangini was great, and then the problem with Tannenbaum too was like, and I remember looking at it in a lot of those years, like he backloaded a lot of contracts, so it was like, yeah, we were going to be successful, but we had a lot of big players with a lot of backloaded contracts. We kind of knew that it was going to collapse in 12-13, but like it started with like getting rid of guys like Cotray for Derek Mason and bringing in Santonio Holmes and making him a captain, and he quits on the Jets like mid huddle against the Dolphins. Like just so many things went wrong, but I just wish I could relive the 2000 or the late 90s, I guess, Jets until the 2011 Jets. Those were actually not terrible years for us. And part of it is, Mangini was a good coach, and then even Tannenbaum for a little bit was okay, even though he backloaded the contracts. We just need to get back there, right? What's the longest drought? You said it last week, right? It's like 21 years. It was like the longest drought in the NFL.
I think
Cardinals
it's 20,
or something.
Yeah, I think it's 22. The Cardinals were involved in it.
All right, so we got 7 more years. 7 more years where we don't have to break another record. My God, let's get it done sooner than that.
Ablab, another super chat here. He says Ray Perkins, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, AG. No point being made here. Just an interesting trade. I just think the problem when we do that is there have been so many assistant coaches who have great track records, and they're not head coaches. And when you know, you know. Like
look
Glenn,
at McDaniels.
A great example. Norb Turner was one of the best offensive coordinators of all time, not a head coach. There's countless examples of this. And again, if Glenn turns it around, he would be a historic outlier. There's been 2 coaches over the last 25 years that ended up winning a playoff game, at least one playoff game, that after they won 4 or fewer games in year 1. One of them is Zach Taylor. We just talked about him. He has Joe Burrow. The other is Campbell, but again, he had Jared Goff, who went to a Super Bowl with LA, and he had Ben Johnson. And when they didn't have Ben Johnson this year, they missed the playoffs. So again, like if we're betting on Glenn to be the 3rd coach there, like I just feel like that's not going to end up working out too well for us, but we don't have a choice because for at least another year, it feels like he's our coach.
No, and like that's why we bought into him. It was because of who he was around. It was because his defense last year they were decent with a ton of injuries, right? Minus obviously the playoff games and stuff like that against Jaden Daniels, where they almost put up a 50 burger, right? They were close to a 50 burger. So, but mostly it was the resume, being around, guys like Parcells and Belichick and Peyton and Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. And that's why I bought into him a little bit. But just like I said before, McDaniels, right? Like he's a great OC. He's been around Belichick a ton. Every time he goes to be a head coach, it's an absolute disaster. So there's a large difference between being a head coach and being a coordinator, so even if Glenn is a good coordinator, which his stats don't say he's been great ever, even though he's had some impressive years based on like the injuries and the situation around him, but he may just be a good coordinator at this point. There's like Saleh, right? Like he just may be a good coordinator, or he has to walk into a situation where it's kind of ready-made, I think, for Saleh. But we'll see. I just don't think, obviously again, historic outliers, we went over the stats a billion times. I know you have 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. You went over the stats, I'm sure, a ton at this point.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to see if Saleh gets another opportunity because like his tenure with the Jets is looked back on so differently because of the fact he got fired at 2-3 and then it just became such a bleep show after he left. So people will forget and almost excuse a lot of what he did and basically just blame it on the Jets. Plus, it helps him. He will always get interviews because he's on a really good team. He's a really good defensive coach, and he counts for the Rooney Rule. So every team requests him. And I'd want to talk to Robert Saleh too, just to hear funny stories about Woody Johnson, if anything else.
Yeah. Look what he's doing with their defense with a ton of injuries. So he's a great DC. Like, and can you pair him with the right offensive mind? So like, if you're telling me whatever, Falcons, Dolphins, where obviously not the Dolphins. Actually, I can't use that for the example I'm about to give. But let's just say it's like the Falcons, right? Could you, they apparently want to keep Ulbrich around. Obviously, Saleh and him have worked together in the past, and they had successful defenses. And then does a guy like McDaniel, not McDaniels, Dolphins head coach, I'm blanking on his name right now.
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Does he go in to be the OC? Like that's if you can get like a ready-made play caller with Saleh, you don't have to worry about the offense, then he could be a really good hire. Maybe with the Falcons teaming up back up with Ulbrich and bringing in his buddy there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I do think he ends up getting a job though, based on it seems like there's pretty heavy interest in what Saleh's doing right now.
Ablab says Parcells was 3-12. We use Parcells, Jimmy Johnson. I choose to just look at the data from 2001 on. I think that's much more of what a representation of what the league now is. Even in 01, it was way different. But again, that's 25 seasons of sample size. Yeah, Parcells was 3-12-1 with the New York Football Giants in 1983. I wouldn't count on Aaron Glenn to be Bill Parcells.
Yeah, you're just holding on to historic outliers. If you want to do that, fine, dude. Like I could say like, okay, well, hey, Joe Schmo won the lottery. I'm going to win the lottery too. It's not exactly the same, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like just because it's been done doesn't mean it's likely, right? Like there's less than even the truth, like the truthers, you want to call them,
the bootlickers, if you will.
Okay, bootlickers, truthers, whatever you want, whatever, brown nosers, whatever you want to call them. Like, what is their percentage chance he's going to work out? And I try to ask.
Well, he's a bootlicker, Glenn Butt Sniffer, putting perfume on a pig and telling Jake, check to say he's a bootlicker, Aaron Glenn Truther, holding that rope and trying to sell us on this shit show.
By the way, I was told that Jay Quest requested that video to show to his friends. He's very proud of being a Glenn bootlicker, butt sniffer, Glenn Truther.
Jay Quest is really, because I think I've seen Jay Quest in my chat too, and he's typically cynical. So I'm surprised he's a truther or a bootlicker. That actually surprises me based on what I know about Jay Quest. But nonetheless, yeah, I don't want to hold on to the historic outlier. That's really all it is, right?
Well, let me ask you this. We'll end with this. If Glenn is successful, obviously a lot has to be different from what we just saw. Like, if you're Aaron Glenn and you're self-evaluating yourself like he said he was doing, like, what can you do as a head coach to try and give yourself a chance to actually be the head coach beyond just the 2026 season?
Well, one, hire a staff, right, that has some experience, and not hire a running back coach. That would be a big start. Bring in some consultants on offense and defense. Maybe if your defense is bring in a defensive coordinator who matches your philosophies. It seems like when we did our studies on Wilkes and versus AG systems, they weren't exactly the same. So maybe bring in a guy who kind of aligns with your defensive philosophy. If it's not working out, maybe work into the meeting rooms and call the defense a little bit, or at least offer some more insight, which I don't know if he did that or not, but it just seemed interesting at first that it was the systems didn't match up. So bring in a guy who matches you, bring in some coaches. The problem is it a situation where, do you not want to attach yourself to this Jets staff, which I wouldn't if I was a coach out there with plenty of options, being transparent. So I think it starts with the staff and kind of taking the reins over the defense, not necessarily play calling, but having more of a voice in it, and bringing a guy who matches your philosophies, and then stop bullshitting in the media. That doesn't have anything to do with your success as a head coach. I think that just helps out the fans, right? Like, we don't want to be bullshitted. We've been hearing bullshit for 15 years, and we know it. We can smell the bullshit. So just be a little bit more transparent, maybe. And it seems like somebody maybe either he got knocked down a peg because of how bad they were, or somebody got into his ear and was telling him, like, hey, be a little bit easier on the media. Maybe both. I don't know. But be more transparent. Like, at least give me an example of how you can improve. I don't like, I have 10, Jake, I have 10 ways the Jets can get better. And then your question's going to be, okay, Joe, well, what are those? Just trust me. It's like, that's not an answer,
I know it's hard to say. Just trust me, have faith in what we're doing.
Trust me, bro.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that in a job interview? Like, hey, where are the areas of improvement you can bring? Just trust me. Just trust me. It's like, what? Like, okay, get out. You're not hired for this. So, I would say a coaching staff is the first part.
Even beyond that, right? I'll play you one more thing. Like, he never talks in specifics. Again, I thought Rich Cimini asked the best question at this presser last week, and this answer from Glenn, how does anyone have any confidence?
Given your defensive background, and given the way your quarterbacks performed this year, why should people feel confident that you have the infrastructure in place to pick a quarterback and develop him properly?
You know what? That's a good question. And we're going to exhaust everything that we can to make sure that we surround our quarterbacks now, and if we get any quarterbacks in the future, right, with the guys that's going to help them. And then again, that's a whole part of, making sure that we evaluate everything that's going on, make sure we have the right people here that can help the quarterback. And I'm not saying that we don't have that. That's.
God, give him Dante Moore. That ought to work out. He'll definitely get the development he needs with this coaching staff.
Yeah, and is it a thing where it leads me to believe that he doesn't know, right? Which is a problem, right? Like, the coaches, and Sal used to do it too, but it's like, let me watch the tape. And maybe you just don't want to give a reason, but like, if you don't know what's going on in the game and you can adjust at halftime, after quarters, after drives, that's a huge problem. So if you legitimately have to watch the tape to know, you can't know exactly what's going on without the tape, but if you don't have a good feel for how you're getting attacked and stuff like that in the game as a head coach, that's a huge problem. So when he comes out after the game and says, I have to watch that back, it's like, that's not great. And they have the tablets too, so sometimes you can't watch the film actually on the field. So I just don't know if he's the smartest guy in terms of schematics. Again, Ra works in high school, maybe at low level college. NFL, it rarely matters, dude. Like, again, if 10 million, 20 million, 30 million dollars, isn't going to motivate you, is Glenn getting on your ass really going to motivate you? I just think it's so overrated in general, where it's a lot more about the X's and O's and how you are managing the team overall.
I'm so glad that Glenn said it's not about the X's and O's after that Jaguars beatdown.
Yeah, and then referenced a drive in the third quarter down. What was it? 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns? We ran the ball well.
The brands, awesome. Man. We will never forget that third quarter drive down 40-13 when Isaiah Davis scored a rushing touchdown.
Like, at least Salah's teams always played hard for him. Even if we were losing games, they played hard for him. It doesn't matter that much. Like, cool, we play hard, awesome.
And then, and again, people are like, oh, they were competitive early before they started tanking. Most teams are competitive. Most of the spreads are under 7 for a reason. It's the NFL, man. It comes down to a play here or there. It's strategy. It's X's and O's. That's where the league is. Like the Jets, you started 0-7. Don't go. And then what really bothered me, this is when I started to really I went in on Glenn after this because I was there at the game. When he said they're not the same old Jets after they blew the game in Tampa, when they had no business even having this fake comeback. It took a miracle, 1 of 1 million odds for Will McDonald to make that play in the first place just to then blow it. And he said, we're not the same old Jets. I'm like, dude, you are the definition of same old Jets. You know what? He actually was right. They're worse. This is as bad as it's ever been.
And there are a lot of people who hang on to the point differential before the trades as part of like their argument for Glenn. But with that being said, like if we remove the fourth quarter from some of those games in garbage time, what's the spread then? Like if you're not down, whatever it is to the Bills or to the Bucks with Todd Bowles taking his foot off the gas, or the Cowboys, like how different is the point differential there? And like people act like we blew up the team. Again, you traded 2 guys who you sucked with before that. Like the defense was just as bad with Quentin Williams and with Sauce, guys who were all pros. So it's not like we were playing well and then that just completely changed the formula of the team. And then people will hang on to like, oh, well, that was their plan to tank. It was not the plan initially. There's no way it was the plan initially. They pivoted because they were in a shitty situation because of themselves. So, yeah, I wonder, I think there was a stat out there. Maybe Nania put it out there. But if you remove the fourth quarter, how big the spread actually was, because the Jets scored a lot of those points in garbage time the first couple of weeks. Again, the Dolphins were down 2 scores most of the game. Bucks game took a miracle and Bulls being a bad coach in that incident. Cowboys blowout, Bills blowout, So I'm not hanging on to the first 7 games either. 4 or 5 of those first 7 were awful in my opinion.
Unbelievable. Paul writes in, how did he get this job? What football questions were asked? Mike T needs to be held accountable. Well, if you listen to New York Game Day with Jake Asman and Mike Tannenbaum, I can promise you Mike T is most certainly regularly being held accountable. Here's how I think he got the job, because ultimately Tannenbaum, when leading the process, he probably told Aaron Glenn to say something along these lines.
Stephen A. There was such terrible coaching in New York last year. Aaron Glenn is going to be Dan Campbell East in terms of penalties, turnovers, end of half scoring. It was, if you look at penalties, for example, Jets were worse than the league. They're going to be massively better. I'm not saying the Jets have the highest ceiling. This is year 1, but their floor is dramatically better. They're going to be one of these teams that's no one's going to want to play because they're tough, they're physical, much the way CC and Damien's tweet alluded to. So to me, they are going to be, again, not the flashiest team, but they're going to be well coached.
Right. The best part, say whatever you want about Stephen A. Smith. I know he's polarizing. Yeah. He's the best part of this video when he's just like, what? Look
just
at his face.
Yeah, just a freeze frame right there. But like when you're like the first example of what he does well is, the penalties. It's like, and again, there's no correlation between penalties and good teams, the Jaguars, high penalties, all that stuff. And oh my God, we went from 31 to 23. That is a massive jump in penalties. And again, there's no correlation necessarily. Like, yeah, you want to be lower, but who really cares when that's one of your primary examples? And like penalties, and they're going to play hard, but nothing schematics, nothing X's and O's. And he builds off his concepts. He's a great play caller, nothing like that. It's just penalties, and we play hard. Again, we played hard under Saleh, and he was fired. And with that being said, they didn't even necessarily play hard for him. You have Jamie Short, who's loafing it against the Cowboys game. You have Justin Fields, who's not coming into play because of a phantom injury. So like, how hard were the players really playing for him? I don't even think they were. I think they tapped out at the end of the year, especially mentally.
Yeah, ruptured mangina, I heard, was the injury for Fields, by the way, unreported.
Yeah, man. Like, but all his players played for him, but Fields didn't. Your quarterback that you signed, which I get the signing. I don't want to like revisionist history, whatever. I understand the signing. They did overpay him, but you're the one who said, coaching and we're gonna let him play quarterback. And
what do you look for in a quarterback? Like, what's an Aaron Glenn quarterback?
A winner.
So he signed a 14-30 career starter who's now 16-37, which is the lowest winning percentage of any quarterback ever with that many starts.
Yeah, and Leon M is him actually makes a good point in the chat. There is also a good thing at there's also a such thing as good penalties and bad penalties. Procedural penalties, 12 men on the field. We had 12 men on the field on offense. I don't know if I've ever seen that. And a lot of it like, and I'm 100% with Leon. I actually love that comment. If it's a roughing the passer because you're going balls to the wall, or a PI or a defenseless receiver. Like, I understand those ones more than 12 men on the field, false starts, guys not properly aligned, whatever it may be. And the Jets saw a ton of that. Now, I wonder if there's a breakdown of exactly how many were like procedural versus pre-snap or whatever, but a lot of it felt pre-snap as well. And that's something you have to account for, because that's just lack of like preparation and, just awareness of the situation.
Joe, you are the man. Thank you for your time. And excellent job breaking down these two quarterbacks. We'll do plenty of these in the offseason, but plug yourself. Where can people find more of all your work?
Yeah, JoeRB31 on Twitter. I put up plenty of plays there. Blewett Splits on YouTube. I think I'm gonna record 41 plays. The part 1 of 3 of Ty Simpson tonight. It's $3 a month if you wanna watch that stuff. But just finished Lemon doing Styles, Bailey, Woods soon. So I'm not sure what's in store for next week. Maybe it's Mendoza, maybe it's Lemon, maybe it's Styles. But plenty of reviews coming on my channel and obviously on this one as well.
You're the man, Joe. Thanks for your time as always. Great job.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jake. I'll see you next week.
Joe Blewett with us. Last chance to get in on the conversation here. Really fun show with Joe. Again, I think this is how a lot of Jet fans are feeling right now. Tomlin, Harbaugh, and 10 other guys. There's so many good coaching candidates right now. It's unreal. And he says, Mike T really said the coaching was terrible in 2024. He did. Terrible. The great Connie Carberg is spending some time with us in the chat. Shout out to you, Connie. She was down at the Hula Bowl, hanging out with Mark Gastineau and John Gruden this past week. So agree with you that Mendoza is a much better athlete to me than Dante Moore. I've not seen Moore move around within the pocket. He's definitely not a dual threat. Love to know what his height is. Yeah, that's going to be telling. I've seen someone, I think it was McShay maybe. McShay compared Moore to C.J. Stroud, and Stroud's not a runner. He's more of a drop-back traditional quarterback too. I see that comp. I like Moore. I wouldn't take him at 2. I don't trust the Jets. I don't trust his coaching staff. He hasn't played enough games, so he needs to sit and get development time. I don't want to take that guy second overall, and I'm not giving the Jets this ball of clay that they got to mold into this beautiful piece of art. He's got 18 career college starts. No, thank you. Leon says Glenn talked about rookie mistakes. He apologized for not throwing a Hail Mary against Denver. Week later, did the exact same thing. Joke. You're right. You're 1,000% right, Leon. The worst coached game I've ever seen by any Jet coach was the London game. The Jets win that game in so many different ways, and Aaron Glenn single-handedly cost them that game. That was the worst coach game of all time by any Jet I've ever seen. All right, before we get out of here, I do have some breaking news I want to share.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
I've been informed by Charles Gorman that today he got a haircut. Look at this sexy human. Gorman, you look good, kid. Gorman, you look good. Sherwin says, I like Malik Willis more than any of the QBs in this draft class. He's only 26. I like Malik Willis, too. I don't think he'd pick the Jets. I think he'll have better options. Ricky says the Denver game, Fields lost us that game, standing there getting hit over and over again. Ricky, he could have benched Fields at any point. We were screaming for it by the second quarter. Could have benched him at halftime. Any point in the third quarter. Any point in the fourth quarter. He could have benched him before the final drive when they just needed to get in field goal range for Nick Folk, who went from 58 earlier. That was the worst coach game ever. Not to mention how they ended the first half. Not to mention how that last drive was handled on top of not benching Fields. That was the worst coach game I've ever seen by a Jet head coach, which is saying something because we've seen a lot of bad coach games. It's brutal. Gorman now ready for job interviews. Good point, Dave. Charles, we need you to root for the Pats. Leon's right. That was brutal. Man. Leon says the Jets fake a punt to try and run the clock out. Oh, my God, was that the worst? Remember Garrett Wilson flipped out? The reason why Garrett Wilson, by the way, has been so good through all this is he got paid. So they bought his silence, essentially. But if they suck again next year, he will not be quiet. It will chap him. Any great player will be chapped if it's this inept again next year. Right? Because let's be real. Garrett Wilson was playing and they started 0-7. It didn't make a difference. Then he got hurt, and the rest is history. Garrett didn't even play in the game they won. The Cincinnati game. He wasn't in that game. And he got hurt in the Browns game, and then we never saw him again after that, after he got back from the initial injury. Unreal. All right, only one caller is currently on hold. So our first and only call today is this man.
Hold on, boys. Just checking a band. I was checking out my band called Haley's Comet. That's a real new band, and it's hot. It's HOT, smoking with hot some gas and getting good surprises. And we're gonna have a cold front this week. I got something to keep my ASS entertained. A little bit of Gator movie action and a little bit of Star Wars. Yeah, I wouldn't mind keep my entertainment going. But this Dante Moore guy. No deal. Take it back. And you know what I mean by take it back? Guy's not good enough. He has to go back to school. He's not prepared. He's not ready. Give him another year or two, but we'll see what happens on him. But until then, nope. Sorry, he goes back to the line. It's like they say at the store. If the meat's not fresh, take it back. Take it back, get your money back. Don't worry about it. But we're going to be just fine. We got, let's see, February, March, April. March, we know that the Asmaniac Madness is coming up. We know the draft's going to be in April. We got baseball in April coming up. We got. Let's see, everything is going to be a crazy couple months. Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets! Let's go Jets!
You won't find a better breakdown than what we just heard, folks. Hey, check out the Patreon. Get in the Discord if you want to see more funny memes like this and everything else going on in the chat today. People were going nuts when Tomlin became available, and I'm like, everyone calm down, all right? We have Aaron Glenn.
Coaching. It's coaching. What do you mean? Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
We're going to be all right, Jet fans. We always are. Have no fear. Woody Johnson is here. On that note, that does it. We are back tomorrow. We got Nick Shine on the first show tomorrow. So we'll continue the conversation. We'll get an answer on Dante Moore tomorrow. I just saw his stud tight end declared for the draft. Is that a sign Moore's going to? I think he will. But we will see. Kenyon Sadiq is leaving school early. Potential top 10 pick, they're saying. I think Moore is going to declare as well. On that note, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. We're off to a great start in the month of January, which is amazing because I just figured the views would be down. No one would care. Team's awful, but Jet fans always deliver. So thank you for that. Again, we're back tomorrow. Like the video. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And I'll leave you guys with a clip that maybe will bring a smile. Maybe will bring a laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a lawyer, you know who to call.
Are you an actual lawyer or what, man?
Yeah, I am a lawyer.
Well, first of all, I'm not a trade, you asshole.
Yeah, you are.
You're a fucking asshole, too. So
Fuck you, asshole. I'm gonna watch your fucking mouth.
That's the end of that rumble. Jesus. Oh, my God.
Hey, Jameis, would you come to the Jets? They might need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Jets, Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, our exclusive interview with now friend of the show, Jameis Winston.
January 2003,
41-0. Jets beat the Colts. What were your thoughts that day?
Yes.
Oh! Just kidding. We love you. Football's family.
Rough guy.
Yeah.
Rough gal.
Love it. Incredible. Peyton Manning's last game. A loss to the New York Jets.
And hung upside down.
Peyton's last game. You lost to the Jets. Blue just attacked me. Where's Ian Rappaport? I need to file a complaint with NFL security. Where's Rap Sheet? I need to learn how to file a complaint with security around here. Blue, you're sick. You're sick, Blue. All right? You'll hear from my lawyers, Rappaport style. That was assault. Oh, here. Where's Goodell? Oh, my God. Blue. You're sick. 41-0. Jets beat the Colts in the playoffs. Peyton Manning's last game. Sanchez to Braylon Edwards after a Cromartie kickoff return to put us in great range for a Nick Falk field goal. 17-16 Jets win. Never forget it, Blue. Oh, my God. I just got bullied by a mascot.
You did.
25. In the year of 25. 25. Is he ever gonna stay alive? 25.
You get the out. Excuse me.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.